Undirected team. How's it going, team? How y'all doing? I am Dotsale, the undirected guy, and y'all are the best audience on the internet. It's not even close, team. Y'all are way better than the Atlanta VA's police chief, who was supposed to be the leader. The chief is the top. But instead of addressing the investigation that was underway on her, she ran like a coward and took no accountability and left all of her people hanging that put their faith into her. Well, let's see what the news story has to say about it, and then we'll discuss.
Another member of the top brass for the Atlanta VA Police Department has retired while under investigation. Police Chief Beverly Banks had been suspended with pay since May when the VA began investigating her department's troubled culture.
Then a recording emerged of Banks telling a staff meeting she no longer wanted to hire Black or Hispanic women, saying they come with, quote, a whole lot of attitude.
Whoa.
The Fox 5 team broke the news of the investigation. Reporter Johnny Edwards is here now with the story on its conclusion. Johnny.
Russ and Courtney, that investigation included an allegation of sexual assault by Chief Banks's deputy chief. He faced no consequences from the VA because he retired in June. Well, now the ex-chief has retired too, and we're just learning tonight, according to the VA, she left because she was about to be fired.
I have been made to sound like I'm a beast. I'm just the worst beast ever.
That's the Atlanta VA Medical Center Police Department's former chief, Beverly Banks, this time last year, holding a department-wide meeting for officers to clear the air. This recording provided to the Fox 5i team by one of the participants.
We trying to change. Are y'all gonna try and change?
But 4 months later, Chief Banks would lose her badge and gun and be suspended with pay. The Veterans Administration bringing in a national team to investigate, quote, unacceptable behavior, including allegations of sexual assault and harassment. And then this emerged.
I am to the point, I don't want to hire Black women no more. I'm to that point.
A recording of
Wow.
Banks in an earlier September 2023 command staff meeting.
What do y'all think
provided
about
to the team
this?
By an officer in attendance, with Banks heard complaining about disputes between her officers.
I don't have no Hispanic women. Hell, I don't want them either.
Oh, the humanity! Got a little attitude there. Is that it? Or are you just so old and ugly that you can't hear anymore?
I don't have no Hispanic women. Hell, I don't want them either, because you know what comes with it. Well, Chief, can you explain what comes with it? We want to know.
Because you know what comes with it? A whole lot of attitude, and I don't want it.
Ooh! What y'all thinking about this so far, team? What is going on with this shave? This is hilarious.
It's not clear what role, if any, that recording played in the VA's investigation. We know now that investigation is over. The VA telling the Fox 5i team in a statement, Ms. Banks retired while under investigation effective January 10th, explaining once an individual leaves federal service, they are no longer an employee for which the agency has jurisdiction. She's the second person wrapped up in the VA's investigation to retire before it ended. We reached the former chief by phone and she told us no comment. But one of her officers had a lot to say.
The hostile, toxic work environment wasn't good for myself.
David Bennett served with the department for 5 years, then quit last year after filing an internal EEO complaint against Banks, which is still pending.
DB.
Accusing Banks of disclosing confidential information about him to his supervisors during a morning meeting.
I think if you're not going to punish the individual, if you're going to just let them retire, at least allow that individual or say, hey, you need to make a formal apology to those officers and to the department for what you created.
Bank.
So all DB really wants is just an apology. I mean, he'd probably take a cash settlement too if he can get it. But he just said, just say you're sorry. And she was like,
Oh my God, I fucking hate myself right now.
man, look, just tell me you're sorry. Look, Chief, can you just please tell me you're sorry?
Stop.
Come on, Chief, really? And then Chief got up out of there. She skedaddled before they could finish the investigation, what she would have been cooked for, because she has audio recordings of herself downing her own people, her own women's. Just imagine what she says about the men's. Or maybe she likes the men. You know, my thing about it is this, though, and I'm trying to figure this out, right? Why is the justice system so slow to act? Even in, like, all of our cases, the justice system really, like, drags things on. Like, people be on trial for, like, 10, 15, 20 years, like, just draining the system's resources. We really need to fix our law enforcement, our judicial system, and find a way to streamline it, because it takes way too long for these cases, to the point where this woman was able to retire and receive benefits before they even got into the meat and potatoes, so to say, of the investigation. All right, let's finish. We got a couple minutes.
Banks had taken over the Atlanta VA's police department in late 2022, inheriting an organization filled with complaints about favoritism and sexism.
You all don't understand what you have in me, and I'm so sorry that y'all don't.
There are other complaints against her and her department still pending. A year before Banks became chief, VA Internal Affairs examined the case of Shanika Jackson, a former dispatcher who accused the former deputy chief, Johnny McCullough, of exposing himself and groping her in his office.
I still suffer through daily panic attacks, anxiety.
Though the investigation came down on her side, Jackson lost her job while McCullough remained second in command. When Banks took over as chief, she kept McCullough in that position.
Deputy Chief McCullough, if you don't know how to talk to people, tell me now so I can do whatever I need to do to get you disciplined again.
The deputy chief had also been suspended with pay until he retired in June, also while still under investigation. It's not clear if Banks knew about the findings of that investigation when she kept McCullough in that position. In a breaking development on this, the VA told me just hours ago, Banks faced a corrective action that included a recommendation of removal in 30 days' time. The VA says she chose to retire before that time was up. The Atlanta VA's police department, now led by Renee Tuck, serving as acting chief. Russ, Courtney?
Well, the chief's own words on tape are pretty shocking all by themselves. Now, we know about the allegations against the deputy chief, the officer's complaints against Chief Banks. Well, what were they about?
Oh, there was a lot of allegations flying all over the place. Now, Officer Bennett there claimed that she stated in a morning meeting that he had been involved in a different EEO case, which he felt compromised him with his supervisors. Other officers complained about things like retaliation, harsh language, unfair treatment. I mean, there was just a lot of drama in this department. And to be fair, some of it predated Chief Banks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are serious accusations, and it sounds like it made for a very hostile place to work.
Yeah, but Chief Banks continued with all the drama. She came in there overwhelmed and inherited a mess, and she was the perfect person to fit into that, because she's all about it. Like, Chief Banks is about, I mean, this was a reality show that was within an actual police department that works with the VA. And look, it's not going to get any better. They put Renee in, and she sounds like, just based off the name, I'm stereotyping on the name Renee, but I mean, listen, team, this is getting out of hand with what's going on in all of our agencies, like police departments, and because I cover a lot of these, police videos, and I'm seeing a recurring theme and pattern throughout all of them that is quite disturbing, to say the least. And I'm really just at a point where, we got to really go in and do an audit on these places. In the medical field, oftentimes they have certain registered nurses that'll come in and audit and try to fix a lot of these failing businesses with a lot of corruption and a lot of, you can call it bleeding, internal bleeding within the company, where they're just hemorrhaging money and don't even understand all the terrible decisions that they're making. Because you need specialists in these environments to be able to fix some of the things that are going on. Because like the police chief could be a good police chief in certain parts of her job, but in other parts of her job, she's lacking. And that's where a lot of people don't understand. And I'm actually going to go into undirected perspective because we're going to finish this up. We are going to go dark for this one, actually. So let's bring this up real quick. We're going to go dark for this one. So what a lot of people don't understand is that these people, and I think she actually did have experience, but a lot of times, like, we equate people's education with their ability to be able to perform at a high level. So when people say they're highly educated or they can flash off a degree showing their accomplishments in school, that has nothing to do with real life experiences and being able to react in traumatic or chaotic situations, because you don't really experience that the same way when you're training. So I've been through that in my own life in different situations, but I'll use something more recent as far as when I officiate basketball games, when I was just learning how to do it and I was just reading the books and watching the videos and seeing some of the training tapes and just taking in a whole bunch of course material. Like, I thought that when I was on the floor, I'd be able to mimic a lot of those situations and act accordingly within them in an adequate manner. But I soon learned that when I went on the court, even though that I had everything memorized and all the rules and everything, it didn't even matter, because when I was out there, I was not able to perform at a high level because I just didn't have what it took at the time. Now, some of this comes natural, right? I did have a natural thing for it. But the other thing about it is this: the experience that I got throughout and keeping myself humble and showing humility throughout the process actually was what made me become so great at it so quick, to the point where I'm doing the second highest game in the state this season. Now, with a person like the police chief, we don't know everything about her, and we're not going to go into her whole background, but obviously she did a miserable job, got herself caught on tape saying some of the most egregious things that'll get you fired from your job. You can't do that in a leadership position, be caught saying stuff like that. And, so it's just foolish. But I think that at this point, she should not be able to resign and get compensation when she was most likely going to be fired. I think that is a loophole that needs to be fixed, because that's what you get paid the big bucks for. Because when you're the boss of something, when something goes wrong, you're the one that takes accountability. That's why a lot of people don't even want to be bosses. They'd rather be workers. Everybody thinks they want to be a boss until they're actually a boss. And then they're like the chief trying to retire before they get fired. And that's where you end up. So I don't know. What do y'all think about this, team? I'd like to hear what y'all have to say, or any comments you have, any questions that you may have. Let me know. I check all the comments. And I just thought this was an interesting story that we had to cover. So we did it. We did it, team. We covered it. And if I get any updates on it, then I will continue to let y'all know what I find.
Goodbye.
I appreciate y'all, team. I wonder if I can get a job like this. I'm wondering, like, do y'all think y'all can go out and do what the police chief and do a better job than the police chief? Do y'all got recordings out there of you saying that you hate or dislike or won't hire Hispanic or black women? And do you think that the chief is actually accurate in her assessment of black and Hispanic women on the job? It's interesting. I'll leave it up for y'all to discuss.